Ashish will come to you in just a bit. Thank you for taking your time out and joining us here in ET now. But let's get started. Tell us on the charts, what are the levels you're tracking?
Hi, afternoon to you and all the viewers. If you look at the markets are under pressure, and we can clearly see that IT has been collapsing, but at the same time, we can see defensive space like pharma has managing to show good moves on the upside. Torrent Pharma has continued to outperform. It is trading nearly at 52-week high right now. And I think the stock can move towards the level of 4,800. One can create long positions in the stock, and on the downside, maintain a stop loss of today's low, which is going to be around 4420 levels.
All right, let's move on then to the next one in focus. And on Axis Bank is what you picked out for us, Ashish. Tell us on Axis Bank, what are the levels to watch out for?
See, in this market, we can see that Bank Nifty is currently trading at the levels when Nifty was around 24,100. So Nifty corrected by nearly 800, 900 points, but Bank Nifty has managed to outperform. And within this, I think now the private sector banks are going to do well. Public sector banks can take a backseat. And Axis Bank has done exceptionally strong moves over the past many days. On the upside, there is potential for the stock to move towards the level of around 1375. And on the downside, one can maintain a stop loss for the stock at 1290 levels. We see Gland Pharma has bounced back from its 20 DMA very sharply. We can expect the stock to reach towards the level of around 2,600 on the upside. On the downside, one can maintain a stop loss at 2,200 levels.
All right, let's move on from Gland Pharma. Okay, but another stock that is on Ashish's radar this afternoon is JB Chemicals. Where do you see the stock headed, and what is the trigger over here?
See, the main trigger, I think, is the overall sector, JB Chemicals and Pharma. We can clearly see the chemical stocks are now buzzing around, and JB Chemical has clearly shown signs of recovery from the lows of 2100 levels. The stock has also found a very strong price action support at those levels, and we can see a good breakout to be coming now from here on, trading near 52 weeks high, and that's a positive sign in this kind of a market. The target for the stock can be 2450 levels on the upside, and one can maintain a stop loss for the stock at around 2190.
All right, so that is JB Chemicals, Ashish, but the next counter that you've picked out is JSW Steel. Tell us on the charts, how does JSW Steel look to you?
Yeah, sorry, can you please repeat? I think there was some
JSW Steel, Ashish, your next counter that you have picked out for us.
Yeah. So JSW Steel, we can see over the past few days, metal stocks have corrected, including Hindalco and other stocks. But JSW Steel formed a bottom at 1260. It's now crossing above its 20 and 10 DMA both. It's just at that junction. And if that happens, then I think major resistance will be broken, and the stock can then move towards the level of 1360 on the upside. Maintain 1260 as a stop loss. The risk reward is very appealing at the current levels.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on JSW Steel, but ICICI Bank, what is your view on this stock?
See, as I mentioned earlier, the private sector banks can possibly lead the rally from here on. ICICI Bank, simply look at the past 6-7 days of chart. It has managed to protect its prior day low, clearly showing a very strong momentum even in today's session. And I think the stock is headed towards the level of around 1380, which is the prior swing high, and maybe much more higher over the near term. On the downside, one can maintain stop loss for the stock at around 1288 levels.
All right. Ashish, your final stock, Grasim, you have picked out for us. Tell us on the charts, what do you see for Grasim?
Grasim, if you're looking at, I think the stock is forming a flat kind of a pattern. We saw a spectacular run up from 2,550 in the month of April. The stock was trading there. Now it formed a flat pattern back towards its 20 DMA and possibly starting the third wave on the upside. So one can position themselves on the positive side, not only from short term, but also from medium to long term perspective. And over the near term, the target for the stock is going to be around 3,300. On the downside, the support, which was formed around 2 days back, important price action support, is at 3,030. So maintain that as a stop loss and ride the stock higher.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Grasim. And then Ashish, coming to you, you've picked out the Hyundai for us on the charts. Tell us what do you see for Hyundai? In fact, if you look at the stock, it hasn't really, it's been in a consolidative phase. In fact, in the last 5 days, it has fallen almost 13.5%. On the charts, do you see further downside to this?
See, overall, if you look at the stock, I think the overall there is some kind of a consolidation that we can expect in the stock to happen. It is currently trading around 1940 odd levels, and it can give breakout on the upside. So I'm seeing more on the positive side in the stock right now because after a sharp fall over the past 2 weeks, the stock has consolidated, formed a triangle pattern, and now giving a breakout along with volumes. On the upside, we can expect the stock to move towards the level of around 2050 and the stop loss can be maintained on the downside around 1840 levels.